Today is day 99 of me showing up here on YouTube every single day on a 100-day journey. And to be honest, I was not motivated for most of this. I did not feel inspired some days. I did not feel creative some days. And I did not want to show up and record some days. And I said that on those videos because I do feel like motivation runs out. Motivation runs out, and even consistency can oftentimes not put you across the finish line. And that's why I want to have this conversation today on day 99, especially when it comes to redesigning your life and choosing to live your life differently, choosing to work differently, just completely doing those things. Motivation will run out. And sometimes, like I said, consistency won't even get you across the finish line. But what will get you across the finish line and what has gotten me across the finish line, I'll see you tomorrow live for day 100, isn't motivation and not even consistency. It's self-devotion. I want to talk about that today because when you're devoted to yourself, when you're devoted to your vision, and the life you're trying to create, that's when the real change sticks. That's when it really sticks. Again, motivation will run out. Even consistency can just become consistency. But when you're devoted to living your life the way you want to live it, when you're devoted to yourself and moving that way, that's when the real change happens. That's how I was able to make it to day 99 today. And of course, I'm going to show up tomorrow live for day 100 because I was devoted for myself. First of all, I'm a very focused person just generally, but I'm also very committed to when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And just in a season of redesigning my life for the last 4 years, I would say the first 2 years were definitely more of like trial and error. And this whole process, just life in general, is trial and error. But those first 2 years was a lot of trial and error. And these last 2 years have me really getting really in my flow of how I want to work and live, standing 10 toes down on it, being able to speak about it every day on YouTube in this way. And it's about how I'm devoted to this life. I'm devoted to myself to live life in this way. And motivation fades faster than most people want to admit. In the beginning, people are motivated. Yes, I'm so motivated to start this, to change my life, to start choosing differently, to prioritize rest, to, find hobbies or creative wellness practices that light me up. We're so energized and excited, but then eventually, the motivation wears off. Those things wear off quickly. And I think a lot of people assume that if motivation runs out, then they might be on the wrong path or they might not be doing things the right way, but that's not it. It's because motivation is an emotion and it will run out. Now, me being here on day 99, showing up for 99 days in a row, recording daily, showing up publicly, sometimes feeling tired, sometimes feeling ugly, sometimes showing up ugly for sure, not always feeling creative, not always feeling inspired. Not always watching, especially in the beginning. I would get like 20 views, 30 views. But again, I wasn't focused on that. I started this 100-day journey as a self-development and visibility practice. Nothing more, nothing less. I wasn't focused on views. I wasn't focused on subscribers. I just wanted to show up, talk to the woman that this would resonate with, the woman that I can ultimately end up supporting in a deeper way and sharing my lived experience. And being devoted to myself, of not only continuing to live the way I want to work and live, but showing other women like me that it's possible, showing other women who might be on the other side of burnout or on the other side of another major life transition or transformation, that it is possible to redesign your life the way that you want to live it. Because, girl, like I said, some days I did not want to show up and press record on this camera, but I realized something really important during this challenge. Like, again, the woman that I wanted to show up for, the continuing to move in a way that felt aligned for me. And that's why I took on Glow's challenge to do this 100 days challenge, just because of how she laid it out. It was easeful, not really worrying about thumbnails in the beginning, not being scripted and perfect. And girl, that part just alone set me free. Like, not just having a word by word script that you had to follow, and just being able to talk freely and not being able, don't be worried about all the editing, because that's why I stopped showing up on YouTube before, because I vlogged, I guess, or documented my book writing journey and a few other vlogs here and there. But all of that editing and the perfectionism, and that's why I stopped. But Glow's challenge just made it seem a little bit more easeful. And even with the easefulness, it doesn't mean that effort isn't required. You know, I still have to come here and have a topic to talk about, have a point of view to share, hit record, even when my energy is low. And I just was, again, it went beyond the motivation. And for me, it even went beyond the consistency, because just the type of person that I am, I knew I was going to complete the 100 days because I said I was. But I was dedicated, the self-dedication to show up and do something differently. I think it's really paying off in more ways, than one, for sure. And when we talk about motivation too, like I said before, motivation is just that. It's emotional, it's temporary, it's fluctuating. But the vision that I have for my life, the vision that I have for the way that I want to work and live, is bigger than that. So I had to come to a point, and I think you will too have to come to a point where it goes beyond just being motivated to make changes. And again, not to do everything at once. Not to do everything at once, but just make that dedication to yourself. Be devoted to yourself, to be like, you know what? This is what I desire. This is the way that I want to work and live. And then start making intentional, aligned decisions from that. And when the motivation wears out, when the consistency feels like, why am I still doing this? You can come back to yourself to be like, I am devoted. I am dedicated to myself to make this happen, because I deserve it. I deserve it. And when we talk about self-devotion, what that looks like for me and what that means for me is continuing to show up for yourself, continuing to show up for what you said you wanted, what you desire, how you want to move in alignment and in intention. Continue to show up for that, even on the days where it feels hard, even the days where I just did not want to record. And honoring your vision, honoring your creativity, honoring your alignment, honoring the future you. That's how I had to that's how I had to be here. And continue to show up for yourself when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching these videos. Like nobody was watching these videos in the beginning, when the results are uncertain. And I know that's really, really hard for ambitious, driven women like us, when the results are certain, because we don't like that. You don't like that. You don't like when you don't have the guarantees. But when you have that self-devotion, you're still showing up for yourself, even when the results are certain. And of course, even when that that motivation disappears. Self-devotion is much different than hustle, is much different than pressure, and it still shows up when motivation fades and consistency gets daunting. Self-devotion is rooted in alignment. And alignment for you should mean, okay, you've come to the conclusion this is the way you want to work and live. Now, every decision that you make should be filtered through, is this in alignment for the way I want to work and live? Is it moving me closer to that destination? Is it moving me closer to that feeling, that vision, that goal? Everything you do should be filtered through that lens of, is this aligned for me? And for me, day 99, I don't want to get emotional, but I think I'm trying not to cry on the internet. I think a part of why I kept showing up here was because I was building something that actually felt like mine. When we're in these corporate constructs, these big projects that we're working on, these big teams that we're leading, even when we're growing business, growing revenue, moving the business forward, making all these big changes and shifts and doing all these big initiatives and projects and giving all of our energy, our time, our intelligence, our presence to these systems, building our lives around this work. Nothing truly belongs to us. We're pouring into these environments that continue to take from us, and all that it gives us is a paycheck, and nothing really belongs to us. And I've been thinking about this. And that's a big reason why I continued to show up, because as more people came in, more people continued to watch the way that you and other women comment. I know I'm building something here that is mine outside of these corporate constructs where my voice matters. The experiences that God has given me, the gifts He's given me, my talents, my creativity. This I own this. This is my IP. This is mine. Like, nobody can take my experiences from me, the way that I'm showing up here on YouTube away from me, this platform that I'm building, this community that I'm building, it is mine. Because again, no matter how much I have given in corporate, no matter how much I continue to give in corporate, because I'm still navigating a traditional 9-to-5, none of it will be mine. I can leave tomorrow and take none of what I built with me. But here on this channel, I'm building something that belongs to me. Yeah. And it also, being here on day 99, it also just gave me a moment to reflect about just how I've had to completely reset my relationship with ambition. Again, I end all of my conversation with, I'm helping women rework their relationship with ambition, but that's what I had to do. I had to reset what ambition looked like for me, because ambition itself isn't the problem. It's our relationship with ambition and how we're taught to move inside of that ambition that calls for us to abandon ourselves, not take care of ourselves, put everything above us, achieve, grow, build all of the things in these systems and constructs that give us nothing back but a paycheck. I had to reset that because, of course, like I said before, I'm going to always be ambitious. I have goals, I have dreams, I have desires for how I want to work and live. And I didn't want to throw that away. I didn't want to throw my ambition away. I just knew that I needed to reset it, reset my relationship with ambition. And that's honestly why I created my digital product, the Ambition Reset, because I looked back over all the things I had to do to start moving the needle in those small, simple ways. And I packaged it up into a 7-day experience that helps you start to shift. Call out those blind spots that you might not know is there. Let you understand how to move forward, that shift that you need to move forward. It's about that foundation of resetting your relationship with ambition, not completely throwing it away, and how you're going to start moving into what I call easeful ambition. Moving forward in flow to the way you want to work and live, to the way the life you desire, your goals, your dreams, your vision, but doing it in an easeful and aligned way. If that's something that you're interested in, I've linked it down in the description box. But I just think a lot of women are waiting to feel consistently motivated to start moving through their lives differently. And while motivation might get the ball rolling, it's definitely not what's going to keep you going. It has to be that devotion to self, to show up differently in your life because it's your life, to move differently, and to continue to have that dedication to yourself. But after 99 days of showing up here on YouTube, I know for sure that it was not motivation that got me here. It was self-devotion. Devotion to showing up here for the women that I want to support. Self-devotion to the life that I want to continue to design and build. Self-devotion to the way that I want to work. And just the way I want to use my skills, my gifts, my creativity to make aligned impact, to do good work, to do meaningful work, to do impactful work. Yeah. Because like I said before, ultimately, motivation will fade. Consistency is very, very helpful because you do have to be consistent. But even when the consistency starts to feel blah, just come back to yourself, to that self-devotion. And that's where that change happens. That's where that embodiment happens. That's where this is who I am. That's where that happens, and that's where that sticks. Yeah. So like this video, day 99, like this video. Let me know if anything in this video resonated with you today, or just any day that you've watched over this 100-day journey. And I will see you live tomorrow, Sunday, May 17th. I will see you live for day 100. We're going to talk. We're going to chit chat. We're going to get into some things. I'm going to share some observations. Yeah, we're going to talk tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Erica Prevail, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.